America Chavez has been adored as a character throughout her many support roles in several team-based comic book series. However, when her solo series came, there were definitely some mixed opinions on the narrative style and literary elements that writer Gabby Rivera decided to incorporate into America's first solo series. Personally, having both admired America Chavez as a Latina superhero and studied Spanish literature for years now, I found myself loving and appreciating many of the elements of the story that unhappy readers found controversial about the series. In my opinion, the America series reads much better as Latin American literature than as a stereotypical comic book storyline. Particularly, three main facets of Latin American literature really stand out as being key to having a better appreciation, or at least a better understanding, of Rivera's work on the series. The literary history behind Latin America spans the history of the continent itself, but many literary critics believe there's a distinct difference between Latin American literature and literature that was simply written in Latin America. To talk about Latin American literature, it helps to start with one of the very first literary movements that Latin America grew to truly own and identify themselves with, el modernismo. Not to be confused with modernism, el modernismo was a pan-Latin American movement that arose out of a conscious sense of being threatened by both empires from the United States and from Spain. From this sense of dread and pressure, many Latin American citizens began to ask the question of what it meant to be Latin American in the first place. They didn't just want to be an extension of Spanish identity, especially after having just separated themselves from them politically, but they also didn't identify with the United States, who were just trying to barge in and take over their way of life. And so writers from all across the Spanish-speaking continent came to answer the question of Latin American identity through a mix of poetry, novels, and essays. These writers gave this general answer to describe Latin American identity: an adoration of art and spirit. This is what el modernismo emphasizes. Uruguayan author José Enrique Rodó practically defined Latin American modernismo in his novel Ariel, which happens to follow similar narrative beats as the beginning of the America series. Ariel is a novel directed mostly towards the youth of Latin America and presents itself in the form of an ongoing seminar between several students, a philosophy teacher, and a muse-like statue by the name of Ariel.